Hey guys, so I just got off the phone with someone from my old high school who's coming to the University of Dundee, and one thing that we kept on talking about was like prices of like accommodation, cost of living, things like that. So I decided to do this really impromptu video on how to not go broke in uni. Now, uni is a time where you're not actually earning as much as you could, but you're spending a lot. But it's an investment period in which you hopefully see the returns of for the rest of your life. But I think that you can actually get through it if you make smart choices. You can get through it and minimize your debt if you would have debt after. So these are just some tips that I've used over the years that have kind of helped me be financially savvy. And let me be honest with you, I am not the most financially savvy person or the, best user of money, but I think that especially at times where I need to hold myself back a little bit, these are the things that I do that really, really work well for me. So the first thing to do is to set goals. Now, from my personal experience, I've tried to be like, okay, yeah, I have this amount of money, but I'm just going to be smart with my money and not waste my money on things. I think that can make you spend less money, but it's not very, very efficient because you need to sometimes step back and see what you're spending your money on, and how to sort of better spend and better allocate your money. So something that I do at the beginning of every month is I see how much I have. I see how much needs to go. So for example, I need to pay my phone bill. I need to pay my gym membership and sort of other commitments. So I take all of that away. I also think about like food, so how much would I typically spend. And when I'm setting goals, one thing that I find is really important is to be honest with yourself. If you go out for lunch every other day, right, and in your financial plan you don't incorporate that and you somehow think that you're never ever going to go for lunch, that is not smart. And I learned this from experience. So incorporate the fun things that you do. So I incorporate, meals out, nights out, anything really that I know that I'll do, I'll incorporate that. And another thing is that I also give myself some buffer space. Now, I think personally for me, it's really, really difficult to live on a very strict budget. So I always give myself a little bit of financial room to sort of, spend money, because things happen, emergencies happen, and so a buffer space is really good. And also having like money aside for emergencies, I think is really, really, really important, especially if you're self-sufficient, because a lot of people who actually do come to uni are self-sufficient and do provide, aside from government, do like upkeep themselves. So if you're in this situation, it's extremely important to set a reasonable amount of money aside if you can for emergencies and things that you don't expect to happen. I think that something that I cannot stress enough is that price is not always equal to value. This has been really important to me because a lot of times I've gauged products and I thought, okay, if this product has a higher price, it's probably better and more value. And in a lot of situations, that is very true, but in a lot of situations, it is not. So for example, something that we do that I've talked in one of my previous vlogs about is the big giveaway. So this is a recycling campaign that we have here at the University of Dundee. When old residents are leaving halls, they can leave anything behind, really, and I've had to deal with some of these things. They can leave anything behind, and what happens is that we sort out through all those things and we bring the items of value in something called the big giveaway, which happens on the Sunday of moving in weekend. Now you will get some great things here and you will pay nothing for it, and so price is zero, but value can be really, really, really great. So always remember that price is not always equal to value. And something I always try to do is I always try to compare prices. Like, go back if you're wanting to buy something, especially if it's something that's expensive. or relatively expensive to what you'd usually spend, I always go back, see whether things are cheaper, see whether there's a student discount. Student discounts are my life. Student discounts and loyalty cards are my life, because they make things so much easier and so much cheaper, and I just think it's great. Always take your student card out. Always ask for a student discount. Sometimes it's kind of embarrassing because I'm at the till, about to pay, and I'm just like, do you have a student discount, please? I am a very broke university student. And to be honest, like, it's fair. It happens. And a lot of times I have good, yes, we do have a student discount. Or in the next month, we're actually going to have a promo where we're going to take our student discount from 10% to 20%. So sometimes things can wait. And also, like, something to think about is sale seasons if you're really looking to get something. Now, I'm not an advocate of going to sales and buying things you don't need. I think that is a waste of money, regardless of if it was cheap and the price was lower than the value. If you don't need it, it has a zero value to you. So if I need things, I always look for things like Black Friday, and the Overgate has this really good student night where they're insane sort of discounts all over the store. So if you're looking to buy like boots for uni or stuff like that, if you can wait, you should wait for times like that, and you should ask, when these sale seasons are coming up, because that can really make you up the value for the price you're paying. So something that I also think is mighty important is to keep records. I have this wee book I got from Paper Chase. Yes, I bought a book to help me sort of account for my money, but when my budget is really, I don't do this all the time, but when my budget is really tight, I literally write out how much I'm gonna spend, and everything I spend money on, I write it down, and that is fabulous for me. I also try to bring out the cash that I want to spend, because if I don't have the cash, I know I'm going over and above. And in these days of contactless payment, Apple Pay, I honestly have looked at my balance so many times and been like, where has it all gone, So keep records, I don't do it all the time, but when it's hard for me financially, I make sure that I do it, because super important. So the last thing I would say is that having a student job is a very good idea. I don't know why that took me so long to say. But yeah, having a student job is a very good idea, or a job, a part-time job, because you're getting revenue with extra time. And to be honest, some people say, well, I don't have time for a student job, and in some cases that is true, but in a lot of cases it's not, because you probably spend that same amount of time you'd be spending on that student job binge watching Netflix. And I do know that binge watching Netflix is a necessity at certain points in time, and I've needed to binge watch Netflix, so no judgment coming from me. But I think that we can often find time, especially when you're only doing uni, because there are some students who are doing ridiculously crazy difficult courses, and they're working, they're upkeeping themselves, and if they can do it, you can do it too. So yeah, these are my favorite tips for not going broke as a student, and hopefully I will be able to listen to my own advice and not go broke as a student. I hope this helps you.